I was stuck in the messy middle for longer than it was necessary. And recently I talked with someone who's still in that stage. And that conversation inspired me to talk about it with you. What's the messy middle? Messy middle is a stage in life where the way you used to be, the way you used to live doesn't work anymore, but you still haven't found new ways of being and living. Or as some may say, the old version of you is dying, but the new version of you is not born yet. What gets you to messy middle? Different things. Maybe your life is kind of falling apart. Maybe it's your job or your relationship or your health going downhill. Or maybe things don't make sense to you anymore as like before. Your relationships seem empty or meaningless, or your career doesn't seem to be getting anywhere. More important one, the coping mechanisms that you use for years now don't work anymore. You can't push away that pile of sadness anymore. You can't hide that sense of unworthiness anymore. And things like that. Or you may feel that you have changed, but you don't know exactly why. The things that you used to excite you now feel empty, or laughter doesn't come as easily to you. However, it happens, the reason for that stage to happen for you is you have been called to live a more conscious, more meaningful life. You have been called to live from your soul. And when that call happens, you can't ignore it. It just gets louder and louder if you ignore it. Getting louder means that things start to fall apart more. You are going to lose things, lose people. Also, you can't push yourself back to the stage that you were before. You can't be the same person. You can't have the same relationships. It's just the only way from the messy middle is forward. There is no going back. When you are in the messy middle, it feels like you are a ship that has lost its anchor. Now you are wandering in the ocean without direction or destination. What helps, I know it after so many years of experience, what helps at this stage is first accepting that you are in the messy middle and accepting that in that stage things may not be pleasant for a while. It means that you may feel some emotional pain. Maybe you have to face your buried emotions, or some hidden patterns that you have been carrying your whole life. And of course, it doesn't feel pleasant, and sometimes it's even get overwhelming. But it doesn't mean that you are failing at life. It doesn't mean that something is wrong with you in your life. It's just a stage that the sooner you accept that you are in that stage, the sooner you move through it. So at this point, if you are still watching this video, it means that's the stage that you are in. And I want you to accept that, because really accepting that you are in the messy middle is the very first step to move through it. I didn't accept it for a long time, and that was the reason that I was stuck in that stage for some time, because I had no idea what was happening to me. I didn't have any mentor or anything. I was just guessing and kind of finding my way through this stage. There was another thing that made the whole process harder and kind of hindered my progress, and that was comparing myself with others, comparing with people that weren't in that stage of life, comparing myself with the people that were still hanging out at the stage before this dark tunnel that I was in. And of course, when I looked at them, they looked happier, they looked more satisfied with themselves and with their lives, because they had this feeling that they were in control of their lives. And I didn't have that feeling. I felt like my life was completely out of control at that point. That comparison made me feel even worse. And at every step of the way, I felt like I was going in the wrong direction, because I was feeling worse and my circumstances were getting worse. But then it came a point when I started to look more closely, and I realized that most of those people didn't want to be in this stage, and they probably their calling hasn't come yet, and they were in complete denial of what was happening inside them. And I realized I can't compare the invisible result of my inner work with the visible result of their comfortable life, because all they had was a comfortable life. And comfort isn't fulfillment, comfort isn't even happiness. I also realized that I was comparing the storm season of my life with the calm denial of those people. That comparison lost its meaning, and I came out of that illusion that they were living a better life, or they were doing better, or they were better than me. And gradually I started coming out of that comparison stage, and I started to see blessings of the stage that I was in and the path that I had taken in life. But this time, after I accepted where I was in life, and after I decided not to compare myself anymore, um, it came a point where I made a decision, and I decided not to betray myself anymore. I stopped betraying myself through comparing myself with others, because first I realized that the stage they were in, I couldn't be in anyway, and if even if I wanted to. And then I realized that I didn't even want to be in that stage. I also realized that different people come to this world for different levels of life and experience, and comparing ourselves with others in whatever stage we are is just basically meaningless. And instead of that, I started looking at the lives of the people that who had already gone through this stage, and they were on the other side of this tunnel. And as just not to compare again, just to get some encouragement and to see that it is possible and I can make it through. And that helped me gradually seeing the blessings and experiencing more and more blessings in my life, and going through this stage and coming out of it stronger and happier. So, to summarize all what I said, first the step was to accept my where I was in life. And then the other thing that was really important and helped me was supporting myself, being there for myself throughout this process, and not thinking that I am doing something wrong or there is something wrong with my life. These two were very important. But there was another thing that helped me a lot, and that was I understood the power of my presence. I realized that there is a part of me that is gets never touched by the pain, neither in the past nor now, and I can always go back to that part of myself, and presence give me access to that part of me. I only need to hold a space for those parts of me that were wounded, that were not healed. I needed to hold a space for my mental and emotional patterns and just let them move through me. And that shifted a lot of things. When you keep returning to that presence within you, you realize that you don't have to be scared of this stage of your life. And this is just a temporary stage and you are going to move through it. You just need to not to abandon yourself in the middle of it. You have to always be there for yourself when you face those challenges, when you face those mental and emotional patterns. And that's when the real shift happens and you find your inner peace back. Now, I want you to know that the whole world is going through this stage, but not many people talk about it because there is still some shame around it. Because in this society, or probably where you live, you are always supposed to be up and running. And if you are not, then that brings some shame. But you're not alone in this, definitely. And I've gone through it, I'm out of it, and I am experiencing a lot more blessings in my life. And I think you will do the same. You will definitely come out of it if you accept it and you always be there for yourself and you keep returning to that presence within you. And you come out of that stage with 100% better understanding of yourself and the world around you. I'm sure of it.